We've got it near St. Stephen's, Frankville, and Bigby, as well as Silver Cross. And this is likely a tornado on the ground based on what we're seeing. This is the tightest rotation we've seen in the area today. It is an environment that is very favorable for tornadoes, and this would likely be occurring between Yarbo and Bigby, between Bigby and Milry, and it's headed away from the Milry area. It's going towards the northeast, which is going to bring it over Silver Cross and Frankville, which is right about here between Bigby and Bladen Springs. It'll go right over Bigby. It's going to cross the Tombigbee River, and it looks like some of the same areas that were under tornado warning earlier in Clarke County along Highway 69, places like Solitpa, Mays Crossroads. You're included in this. We'll have to watch, but I'm thinking a little further north here, right from about Tadlersville down to Solitpa, and then up towards Wynn Road and 84. You are in a warning. You're getting this warning if you're in Grove Hill, but it is a ways off. It is a very fast moving potential tornado. This is moving to the northeast at 45 miles an hour. So a very, very fast speed. And I mentioned a lot of those communities, and here it is, Frankville by 6:09. It will be in Frankville any minute. You need to be sheltering in Frankville for a possible tornado. We are in Tadlersville with this possible tornado by 6:18. We've got it in McIntyre, which is over into Clarke County by 6:29, and that's pretty far out with the forecast fan. This is strong rotation that is being indicated by our radar. I'm here tracking along with meteorologist Nicholas Urboso, and we believe we do have a likely tornado here in northern Washington County between Bigby and Milry. Substantial rotation is being noted with this storm. It also shows up as a hook signature, or did earlier, on classic reflectivity. So looking at it, some of the roads that are included in this area, you have County Road 31. The update here, this was a volume scan that came in a couple of minutes ago, so you need to envision that about right here. It's going to be pretty much right on top of Bigby and Frankville. County Road 34, where it intersects County Road 31, anywhere between Silver Cross and the south side of Bigby, you are in a possible tornadic situation, a very strong area of rotation. If there is not a tornado, there are some very strong thunderstorm winds going on in this area right now. Just saw Nicholas rocking this back and forth. We were looking for a tornado debris signature. It does not stand out right now, but there's times where we have a tornado on the ground and it can take another volume scan or two for the debris to get lofted aloft. So you can't wait for a tornado debris signature to issue a tornado warning or call a tornado that could be possibly imminently occurring. And that's what we have going on right now on County Road 34. If this holds together, it will cross the Tombigbee and head into Clarke County. It is a very, very fast-moving cell, so we expect it to skip over along Highway 84 between Coffeyville and Grove Hill, somewhere around the Wynn Road and Zimco area, and then it will move up towards 154. Fulton, you are well within the cone. Thomasville, you are within the cone. So a lot of people's cell phones are probably alerting them. If you've got the Fox 10 weather app, you are getting alerts here in this area. And we are seeing intense rotation. That is the latest from Jason Beeman at the National Weather Service here, showing intense rotation between Milry and Bigby here that is bearing down on this area. So we are really closely watching this. There also could be $quarter to $half size hail. There could be a lot of hail in this area here up near Silver Cross on the northern flank of it. So you're likely going to get your tornado right here around Bigby and then the northern edge of it, possibly up to Bladen Springs in southern and southeastern Choctaw County. We could have some hail. You may see some hail in Tadlersville before you have to contend with the possible rotation. We got a lot of high reflectivity right through here. So there is the possibility of hail there. And the latest with this here still is placing the system between Kenton and Bigby, but I imagine it is well ahead of where this rotation is now. So this has been up for several minutes. We have not gotten a new volume scan on this, but the Weather Service has trimmed Loper out of the warning. Milry, you are not in this warning either. It is updated now to include Frankville and Silver Cross and Tadlersville. You can see it flashing. That means there is an update, and that's common as a system is making progress towards the northeast. It is going to be pulling further over into the polygon, and they'll trim some and all clear some of the areas on the back edge of it. And we're all under a tornado watch, a good portion of the area. Severe weather can happen at any time this evening, but we're especially concerned about Greene County, Washington County, and Clarke County for the possibility of tornadoes. This is definitely by far one of the strongest rotation areas we've seen, and that includes even some of the cells that were to our west over Mississippi. We've got it near Tadlersville at 622. We've got it in Zimco as we get into the time frame of 634. And I was just checking it on radar scope. This thing's basically right on top of Frankville based on what I'm seeing right now. So it looks like the image updated a little quicker on my phone here. There it is. There's the new volume scan right there. And so your possible tornado is going to be extreme northeast Washington County now. It's going to be very close to Frankville, and it's going to cross the Tombigbee River, it looks like, just south of Coffeyville. So from Tadlersville and just to the south down around Zimco, you're going to be included, and the Silitka area here possibly getting a tornado moving over you. So this is crossing in Frankville and Silver Cross right now near Grace's Chapel and Wynn Road once it makes it over into Clarke County. And very, very strong rotation. We're also seeing a lot of lightning with this here, Nicholas. This is one of the most ominous looking things we've seen on radar so far this evening.
Yeah, probably one of the strongest signatures that we have seen, as you just mentioned. And this is a little bit a ways away from the radar. That is one thing we have to think about. But still a very, very notable rotation here. To give you, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so we can kind of give you some perspective, because I know a lot of people are like, there is absolutely nothing going on in our area right now, because a majority of our area at this point has nothing going on. You can see in the wide shot here of the entire Fox 10 viewing area from Jackson County to Mobile County, Baldwin, all of our Florida counties, Escambia County, Alabama, Monroe, Connecticut, all of those counties, it is dead quiet right now. However, it's just these limited number of thunderstorms that are moving in, and they're in an environment that has the potential to produce some really big stuff, and that is exactly what we have. So we have a tornado warning that does continue now for the extreme northern portions of Washington County, kind of maybe just south of Coffeyville there, that portion of Washington County that's south of Coffeyville, and then Clarke County. Coffeyville, southern part of Coffeyville is in the warning. However, I would say it is definitely the main part of the circulation is to the south of Coffeyville at this moment. Grove Hill is technically in the warning as well. So you see this red box here, that is your warning polygon. Anywhere from Thomasville along 43 in the center of Thomasville all the way down to Grove Hill, you are in this tornado warning at this moment. If you are at the intersection of U.S. Highway 43 and U.S. Highway 84 in Grove Hill, U.S. Highway 84 all the way down to Coffeyville, those folks also need to be in shelter at this point. What is tornado shelter? Tornado shelter is something where you need to go into a small interior room, essentially put as many walls between you and the outside world as possible. If you're in Thomasville or Grove Hill or anywhere in between, highly recommend, if you're in a mobile home, you need to get out of that mobile home, and I would just get into a sturdy structure, because this is a really strong storm with some really strong rotation here. The actual rotation, we can zoom in and take a look at this on radar where it is at this moment. This is passing just to the south of Coffeyville. It has just worked its way through Frankville. This is an extremely strong rotation area. You can also see some of that lightning that's being produced, and there's actually been an uptick in lightning here, so that's kind of one of the signs that this is a really, really strong storm. This storm is moving off to the north and east, and as we've been mentioning previously, at around 45 miles per hour. So it's going to be crossing Alabama Highway 69 in Clarke County just after after it passes the Tombigbee River. Tombigbee River is kind of north-south there, and then Alabama Highway 69 is also north-south there. This tornado, this likely tornado, will be passing those two kind of north-south lines there, and then eventually getting towards Highway 84. Some of the places that are inside the warning, meaning this is a place where if I call your name out now, I want you to take action and get inside. Coffeyville, especially the southern half of Coffeyville. If you live south of Highway 84 in Coffeyville, you need to be in shelter. This thing's a little too close for comfort. Tatlersville, we've already told you out. You already know that this is a place where you need to be in shelter. This thing's right on top of you. Zimco as well. Let's go ahead and go into shelter at this point. McIntyre, Chilton along Alabama Highway 154, and then eventually rural Fulton and Grove Hill. This is all north of U.S. Highway 84 along U.S. Highway 43 in Clarke County. Those are the areas that need to be in shelter at this moment as this likely tornado, based on the radar signature, is moving off to north and east, about to cross the Tombigbee River very soon here. I'm going to zoom out once again. Just want to give you a reminder. We do have other storms that we're keeping an eye on right now in Washington County. If you're getting rain in Washington County at this moment and you're south of Chatham or to the west of Chatham, that rain is not severe at this moment. We're keeping an eye on it. There's a little bit of rotation with it. Our main concern is actually more near Coffeyville at this point. And Jason, this thing still has a really impressive signature on velocity at this moment.
It definitely does. The only positive thing right now is that, assuming it's cleared Frankville before it gets to Coffeyville, it's in an area with very low population density because we're in the floodplain of the Tombigbee River. So it's going to cross the river swamp basically right here. This far northeast part of Washington County, there's just not a lot in the way of development here. You can see this is mostly river bottomland. There are a few camps and houses here. Tatlersville is a different story. And when you get along 69, there are a lot of homes here along 69, so I'm very concerned about that. The rotation area is showing up right here on radar now, but that's a little older, and so the rotation area is probably about right here up in this pocket of Washington County, and so it's going to track basically right over Tatlersville. I think it stays just south of Coffeyville. There are a lot of roads in here, and there are houses all along these roads here between Tatlersville and Coffeyville and some of these locations. So you can see there's some fields right there, and we are seeing some dwellings. We've got Reeves Road. Let's take a look at this road right here. Can't quite see it for the banner there. Hodge Road between Tatlersville. That runs all the way back up to Highway 84. So these are areas where that rotation is heading right for us, kind of over the Christmas Landing area right now. It will be tracking towards Highway 84 and could up near Wynn Road and Zimco once it continues towards Highway 84 and beyond. So very, very strong rotation going on right now on our storm tracker. This is a good ways away from the radar, so it's not determined if this is actually on the ground. If it is, we're probably not going to get any confirmation of it because of the rural nature of the area. However, once it gets here around 69, we could get some reports. And the south side of Coffeyville will be threatened by this quite a bit. It is now cleared Frankville and Silver Cross and Bigby. So if you're in Bigby, Frankville and Silver Cross, it looks like this possible tornado is now over the Tombigbee, right about over the Tombigbee River right now. And once it pulls away from the river and the river bottom and gets up along 69, it will be in an area with a higher population density and is certainly a concern. The forward speed is about 45 miles an hour. So if it holds together, it's going to be very close to Thomasville at 6:45, and that's in less than 30 minutes. Less than 30 minutes, it's going to cross Clarke County, and probably within about 40 minutes by the top of the hour at 7, this will be in Wilcox County. Now, we have not gotten confirmation of a tornado, but the rotation area is quite strong, so we're treating it as if we've got a tornado on the ground. And Nicholas, you've got some new information.
I'll say I'm just kind of keeping an eye on social media, and I'll mention that there was a storm chaser that was out there that actually did report a rotating wall cloud very close to the ground with this particular storm. Again, it's night out there now, so the storm chasing isn't great, but we can still somewhat get some confirmation of the report there that we did have a wall cloud on the ground. The wall cloud, of course, is the rotating part of the storm that the tornado comes from. You need a wall cloud, or lowering or rotating part of the storm, and the rotation that you can see on radar, I'll point that out. That wall cloud would be located back here in this corner here, so just south of Coffeyville. That's where that wall cloud is right now. Somewhere out of that rotation area is where we would eventually get a tornado if this thing continues to be strong. We'll be, of course, watching this, the evolution of this. It does look like in the latest scan, Jason, maybe some of the greens starting to disappear, maybe not as vibrant of a color that we've had with this thing, but still definitely some strong rotation that is there. This is about to cross Alabama 69 in Clarke County, then eventually crossing US Highway 84. If you're in Coffeyville, I just did the measurement on this. This is about, and I'm being really exact with this, so take it with a grain of salt, about maybe 4 miles to your south. That is meaning that tornado, if it were on the ground, is about 4 miles to the south of the center of Coffeyville. This is going to track to the north, kind of paralleling Alabama 154, and then eventually getting its way up to that kind of top part of the polygon, Fulton, Thomasville, north of Grove Hill, along US 43 there. So that's kind of tracking this thing as it's going along. I will mention real quick, as we kind of pull out, we do have some other storms that are right behind it, Jason. It looks like those are starting to show some weak signs of rotation, Jason.
Yeah, so let's take a look at some of those other areas of concern, and definitely going to be a close call for the Coffeyville area. There is some weak rotation with this one here, which is just to the east of state line. It is embedded within this thunderstorm, so we're not getting a warning for this right now, but it has to be monitored because of the nature of the environment, the instability and the possibility of a warning there. Right now, the latest volume scan shows rotation over the Tombigbee River, but this is likely a happening thing here. This will be updated to a considerable tornado warning, so it is very significant, and it has now dropped Washington County out of the warning. It includes the south side of Coffeyville and Tattersville, and it's headed for 84. So they put a considerable tag on this thing here that is more significant than a probable tag. This is likely occurring. There is also definitely hail. The vertically integrated levels, liquid levels with this were off the charts around Silver Cross, so I expect some very a confirmed tornado. So we have a confirmed tornado now. A confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado was located 4 miles southeast of Coffeyville. So right where we were telling you it was going to be, on 69 in Tattersville. We got a large and extremely dangerous tornado coming through Tattersville now, and it's tracking towards Wynn Road and Highway 84. It looks like it's going to cross 84 just east of Coffeyville and well west of Zimco and Grove Hill. So there it is right there, and this is a confirmed tornado now, a very serious situation. It is likely a powerful tornado. We're in an area where we saw the potential for tornadoes EF2 and stronger based on the parameters of the atmosphere today, and we may have one of these unfolding. So likely a strong tornado on the ground being reported right now just south of Coffeyville, around Tattersville and crossing 69. We can go street level here and just tell you Hydes Road and Reeves Road. Those are a couple of areas that I mentioned. Union Grove Baptist Church also on the in the Tattersville area. There is Hydes Road, Apple Orchard Road, Miller House Road. You are included in this warning. Could be a little bit to the east of Fluker Keel Road once it gets over to 89. I think it's going to come in some here where a little bit closer to where Wynn Road intersects with 84. You've got Zimco back here, and there it is. We just got an updated volume scan now that puts that rotation area. It is now clearing Tattersville, and it is right over the top of 84. So it's going to be about right there on the east side of Coffeyville. It's going to be very close to James Cemetery and a little east of the Highway 84 Church of Christ. So it's going to be a little bit east of Coffeyville right here and almost where Wynn Road intersects. And looking at it right now, there's not a well-defined tornado debris signature, but it may be that this is such a large tornado right now that this is actually some debris right in here. And that's what Nicholas is nodding his head here. So sometimes when you have a tornado debris signature, it's a real tight ball, but if it's a big tornado, it can be a real large ball, and the radar can sense where we're seeing rain and then where we're seeing other stuff. And when we have debris lofted up into the atmosphere, it can show up with these intense colors here where we trend over into the green and blue. So this will certainly have to be watched. Possible tornado debris signatures starting to show up here with our debris tracker here on Fox 10 right over Highway 84. And this is likely some debris that was picked up as it crossed the Tombigbee River area and Tadlersville and is now located here along Highway 84. There are some lightning strikes too. McIntyre, you are definitely included in this. Chilton, you are definitely included in this warning. If you're on 154 between McIntyre and Chilton, it's real hilly in here, so that's why it's a pretty windy road right there. And this is going to be rolling right over those Clarke County hills between McIntyre and Chilton and just to the west and to the northwest of Zimco. And remember, forward speed, 45 miles an hour. So what you're seeing here right now, that's that last volume scan we got about 2 minutes ago. It could be almost right on top of McIntyre shortly, if not there. Thomasville, you are included in this warning. The rural area is included in this warning. Fulton, you are included in this warning. If it holds together, it's going to be in Thomasville at 6:46 p.m. So you have about a little less than 20 minutes to be ready and in your safe place in Thomasville. If you're in Thomasville, you do not have to be in shelter right this minute. The possible tornado is still back to your south, but you don't have long. If you're in a mobile home, you got time to move if you're in the Thomasville area. And I would watch out for this because this is a tornado that is ongoing and there is still a tornado debris signature present right now. So we have a tornado that is confirmed right now according to the National Weather Service. It is likely a very strong tornado on the ground between Coffeyville and Slippa, and it is approaching Highway 84 if it's not right on top of Highway 84 now. It's about to head towards 154 near McIntyre and Chilton, and there is also going to be some hail before you deal with the tornado. So if you're in McIntyre, you could be seeing $half size hail, and then you get a tornado. Not a good setup. Chilton also in the track of this one. So if you're just joining us, we have what is most likely a tornado on the ground, a strong tornado in Clarke County. It is now crossing 84 just east of Coffeyville. It is on the east side of Coffeyville. It is headed towards 154. We are no longer under a tornado warning for Washington County. That is expired. It has crossed the Tombigbee. It went right over Tadlersville. There is a very significant tornado debris signature on radar. This is likely a large tornado. This has a considerable hail tag as well. So there it is right there on the east side of Coffeyville. Storm tracker alert. We've got a tornado debris signature for a possible large tornado east of Coffeyville, and it's moving very quickly to the northeast at about 45 miles an hour, and Highway 154, you're included in this, and it's going right for Thomasville too, and you are included in the warning, and this warning may be extended up into Wilcox County. So rural area by 6:48, you've got less time than you needed before. This thing's speeding up. We got it in Thomasville by 6:50. It may be here a little sooner than that, and then we got Finley crossing by 6:56, and you can see an update. It looks like the tornadic thunderstorm that's moved out of Washington County, that we're gonna take some areas out. The Bigbee area and Mays Crossroads, we're focused on the tornadic potential here because we've got a tornado debris signature. Our dual pole radar technology allows us to see where there's rotation. It allows us to see where there's heavy rain. It allows us to see where there's debris aloft, and this is an alarming situation right here. You need to be in the lowest floor of your home. You need to be away away from the windows. You need to be in a substantial structure, not in a mobile home or in a car. If you know anybody who's traveling on Highway 43 right now between Thomasville and Grove Hill, they need to either, if they're in the Fulton area, they need to head south. If they're in the Thomasville area, they need to head north. You don't need to be in this warned area because look at this thing. I mean, we've got tornadic debris showing up in a very, very big way along Highway 84 in Clarke County. And that debris signature is going to lag behind where the actual rotation area is, which is now close to McIntyre. So we've got a new volume scan that just came in. Let's look at rotation now, and we'll show you where we expect the tornado to be occurring right now. And that's going to be most likely right here in McIntyre if you match it up with what's going on with the reflectivity, and then the Chilton area. It's going to head very close to Tallahassee Springs. It may be a little south of Tallahassee Springs, but you are included in the edge of this warning. The warned area is very specific. The way tornado warnings are issued nowadays, that are not for big geographical areas. They're for the exact communities and roads that are included in the possible tornado. And there it is right there, McIntyre. So it is now cleared Tattlesville. It is cleared Coffeyville, and it's along 154 between McIntyre and Chilton, and we're still seeing strong rotation, Nicholas, in this area. It's likely we've got a really bad tornado on the ground right now in Clarke County.
Yeah, and I'm trying to look for any confirmation of this. I mean, we've got radar confirmation, trying to see if there's any other reports that are out there. I have to tell you, we called Thomasville out earlier, and if you are in Thomasville right now, you probably need to be seeking shelter relatively quickly here. We gave you those arrival times with their storm tracker radar and timing it out with the storm fan that we typically do, just tracking it out for you. But this is your storm tracker alert. You need to get into shelter right now if you're in Thomasville. Let's not mess around with this thing, because this is a tornado that is on the ground. There is debris that is being reported. So this is a very serious situation. This thing, and I'll point this out, this is Alabama Highway 154. It is going to be tracking essentially right along the highway there. Jason was talking about it earlier. It's a very bendy highway. There are a lot of hills in that area. There's a lot of forested area in that area of Clarke County. This is kind of in between Coffeyville and Thomasville. That is the kind of connecting road, Alabama 154, between Coffeyville and Thomasville. It is actually going to track right along that road. It is going to track right along that road and then eventually end up very near Thomasville very soon. So if you're in Thomasville, that is a populated area. If you are watching us on Facebook right now and you know of anybody that is in Thomasville, please share our live stream with them. Please let them know. If you're watching us on Fox 10 News, text your friends in Thomasville, let them know you have a serious storm coming your way at this point. Looking at some of our Facebook comments here, if you're in a mobile home and you can try to find a sturdy shelter, if you are in this warning polygon, I'm talking places like Thomasville, Chilton, along Alabama 154 in rural. If you are in a mobile home and you can try to find sturdy shelter and find sturdy shelter quickly. If you're along U.S. Highway 43, you have a few minutes to do that. Just a few minutes. You have to move fast, but you have just a few minutes. So we want you to find that shelter immediately into a sturdy structure. What do you need to do during a tornado warning? Well, you need to be in sturdy structure. You need to be in an interior room. The goal here is for you to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. You don't want to be near windows. You don't want to be near anything that is outside. You want to get as many good walls in between you and the outside as possible, and be on the lowest floor of your building as well. That is kind of your best option to keep yourself safe in a sturdy building. That is the place to be. Jason, this thing is still holding together somewhat here as we roll this thing on, about to get towards eventually US 43 here, kind of towards the kind of end part of the polygon, Jason.
Oak Grove Road, areas along Wells Creek. There is Fire Tower Road that intersects with 154. Fire Tower Road is right in here. We've got Oak Grove Cemetery, Smith Cemetery. Fire Tower Road is going to be right about here, and the rotation area is going to be almost right on top of that. We've got it headed towards County Highway 166, it looks like, right there, 168. I could barely make it out. It's over on the edge of the screen there. 154, there are a lot of hills in here, so this is kind of a windy area with this road. Then it will get very close to Sand Flat Road and Midway Road as it heads towards Thomasville. The rural community on the south side of Thomasville is included in this warning. So it is over rural Clarke County right now. It's about to head into an area that has a much higher population area. There's a Holiday Inn Express on the south side of Thomasville. You could be in line for potentially impacts as well as Coastal Alabama Community College. That's another area that is under a tornado warning right here in the Thomasville area. We've got New Greater Baptist Church. We've got Highway 5 South, old Highway 5 South there. It looks like we've got the Building Solutions plant in Clarke County as well, LP Building Solutions. These are all areas that are included in this warning. The Springfield community too, as well as the Westerville Lumber Mill as well, could be included in this possible warning. So yeah, we're near Cuz's gas station. You're included in this warning. If you see any of these roads, I'm going to step back because even though it's not in Round Hill right now, it's heading in your direction. This is not where the rotation area is right now. This is where the rotation is going, and it will be here in about 10 minutes. So we want to give you an early warning, a heads up for some of the areas that could be working in there. We've got it near we just had a note from the National Weather Service 4 minutes ago that a strong tornado is still ongoing and approaching Highway 154, which we've been talking about near Center Point Road, and it's headed towards Thomasville. So that's why we wanted to go ahead and alert you Midway Road, Sand Flat Road area and the rural area, especially on the south side of Thomasville for this particular rotation area. It is right now near Center Point, so it's going to be about right here. This is where the volume scan had it, but that is about 4 or 5 minutes old. And the problem is this thing is moving so quickly to the northeast, it is likely outrun that particular view or depiction of what's going on. We've also seen this showing up very prominently on reflectivity. There could be a period of hail in Thomasville before you see the possible tornado. And now we got a new update here. It looks like McIntyre, it is just clearing the McIntyre area, and it's going to be a little further along Highway 154, almost completely between the McIntyre area and Chilton on 154. And it's going to continue tracking very close to Wells Creek. It's probably right about over Wells Creek now. The tornado debris signature is actually showing a lot of debris, and some of this could be actually pulled to the north, and it may be broadening out. You can see there may be some debris getting blown as far north as Tallahassee Springs. Got a real strong southerly flow pattern, and so sometimes, you know, the tornado can be here, but the debris can be getting lofted up away from the actual area of rotation. So we've got the rotation about here, but we're seeing possible debris getting scattered as far up as Tallahassee Springs from this, and it looks like we are not quite as well defined, but what's happening here is it still may be some debris aloft. So even if it's not on the ground now, there's still some debris, right? And it's showing up in our debris tracker. But we're going to stay with it because this is the strongest rotation we've seen by far with a very prominent tornado debris signature, and we want to keep going with this. And it looks like the National Weather Service is going to be updating this forecast polygon. It is removed Coffeyville and all of Highway 84 from the warning. We've got the warning right now for areas right along and just north of 154 between the Chilton area and Tallahassee Springs. So this is going to be south of Bashai. That's Bashai right there. That's how you pronounce it. Campbell, a little bit to the south and the east of Campbell. That's where the rotation area is. And it's going right for the west side of Thomasville. It should be just south of Bashai and Morven as it moves through northern Clarke County. The rotation area could be on the southern flank of that tornado debris signature. It is a broad tornado debris signature. Unfortunately, we're likely going to have some damage in this area from a strong tornado based on what we've seen. We have not gotten any visual confirmation, but this has moved through a very rural area. It's likely knocked out power, so the ability to communicate. It could even take out some cell towers in this area, and so it's hard to get details, but if you do know of some damage and you'd safely send it in, please use our Fox 10 weather app to send us some photos and pictures and let us know what you're seeing there in Clarke County. All right, Thomasville, you are there's a tornado warning for you, and your time is growing short to be ready for this one. It looks like your possible tornado is going to start getting on the west side of town here shortly. The current time is 6:38. Our storm tracker technology had it generally around the Thomasville area at 6:45. It's a matter of minutes before what has been happening along 154 comes right on up into town. Tornado warning, northern Clarke County. This has had the history of producing a very likely tornado. The tornado warning is going to be continued, and it's likely that's going to keep going till about 7 p.m. and we'll be with it until it moves up into Wilcox County. Elsewhere out there, we are just seeing some thunder showers in the area, but we do not have warnings for anything that we're seeing. We will be monitoring this cell that's coming through Wilmer right now in Mobile County. There are some warnings north of Hattiesburg and heading in the direction of Laurel, but those are not a threat to our area at this time. This line will be working into the forecast area later, but the main concern right now is this one here in Clarke County. Just had a new update there too to the radar imagery, so we might get a new position fix on where this actual rotation area is, and that it would be placed now here. The tornado debris signature is just north of 154 now. Your rotation area would be very close to center point here, and it's going to be now bearing down on Thomasville. So we've got a bad situation in Thomasville, Alabama here this evening. A likely tornado has crossed out of northern Washington County and is working its way up into Clarke County. It has crossed the Tombigbee River and Highway 84. It is now along 154. The circulation and the rotation is not quite as strong as it was earlier, but we're still seeing notable debris on our debris tracker. We also have seen a history of this producing some potentially very, very large hail. This is a situation where we're likely going to have more warnings as we go through the night. We are under a tornado watch until 10 p.m. and the atmosphere is primed for the potential of tornadic weather here. Now, another thing's going on is this thing is getting further and further away from radar, so we may have some range folding going on here. This is way out there, Nicholas. It looks like it will pass just south of Tallahassee Springs, and it's drawing a bead, what's left of the circulation, basically right for Thomasville right now, and it's heading on off to the northeast. What a fast forward speed to these cells today.
Yeah, and the consistent speed that we have been noting with these has been around 45 miles per hour as the storm moves off to the north and east. They're all tracking off to the north and east. A very typical regime for these kinds of storms, these kind of isolated, discrete storms. Thomasville, let's talk to you real quick. If you are in Thomasville, we ask you to be in shelter. I want you to stay in shelter. The actual rotating part of the storm may not be on the ground anymore. It looks like it's become more broad, but again, our radar is very far away, so we don't have the best picture of the storm right at this second. Either way, that rotating part of the storm is getting to you right now in Thomasville, or probably about to cross U.S. Highway 43. We talked about the Coastal Alabama Community College campus there in Thomasville. We talked about the Holiday Inn on US 43 in Thomasville. Looks like this thing is going to keep going, so we're just going to keep an eye on this. You still need to be in shelter in Thomasville at this point. New update, circulation still present with the storm. Given its history, we will issue another warning, it says, and just a regular tornado warning. So Jason, that's the update. Regular tornado warning is what they're going to go with this thing now that is moving and seems to be kind of weakening at this point. The rotation itself seems to kind of be weakening. And there is that new tornado warning, and it does now include the center of Thomasville. So we're going to keep that going. Again, Thomasville be sheltered at this point. This new updated tornado warning will go until 7:15 p.m. It is 6:43 right now. So Is how long this warning is going to keep going here. And we are going to include Old Highway 5 North and Finley Crossing in this warning. So we're going to include a couple more locations here as this thing moves off to the north. That is Alabama Highway 5, Bashai Road, US 43, Old Highway 5 North, Finley Crossing Road. Those will be some of the areas downstream of this as the warning has just now been issued for you. To kind of pull out and actually take a look, McIntyre, we are now out of the threat. We do still have rain that is going on and some lightly rotating thunderstorms that are going across your area right now, but those are not posing an imminent threat. Coffeyville. If you're just south of Coffeyville, of course, we might have had a significant tornado that just rolled south of Coffeyville. We do still have rain that is ongoing at this point in Coffeyville. This is going to be passing off to the east, and there is a little bit of weak rotation with some of these showers. We'll keep an eye on that. Good thing is there's no lightning with those. That's what's happening where the tornado had previously crossed. Right now, our rotation area is about to cross US 43 and pretty much at the center of Thomasville. Jason?
It is, and hopefully what we're seeing with the sign of the circulation not being quite as well defined, that is a positive thing, but keep in mind it's a long ways away from the radar site, and most of the radars are located at area airports, and so there's just a gap in this part of the country. You're too far away from Maxwell Air Force Base and Montgomery. You're too far away from Birmingham, too far away from Jackson, Mississippi, and the closest radar is located in Mobile. And when we get a tornado in northern Clarke County, it's hard to get a very clear picture as to exactly where this is, but we are looking at some rotation approaching the west side of Thomasville. I would say by 7:15 this is going to be in Wilcox County, so it's going to be out of the area, but it is headed towards Highway 5. Finley Crossing is included in this. When you're heading up through Thomasville, you'll see the sign on 43 to take 5 up towards Sunny South, and that is an area that is included in this warning. So right now it's going to be anywhere along 154, and it's north of McIntyre and Chilton. So we don't have a tornado warning for those two communities right now. It's really going to be between Tallahassee Springs and Chilton, and it's approaching the western side of Thomasville with a tornado warning right now. The tornado warning had that considerable tag. We had a very strong tornado debris signature. Unfortunately, this was likely a large tornado over the Tatlersville area and over a good portion of Clarke County. It could have actually been what we call a long track tornado. It looks like it was on the ground for quite a distance, and it may be a fairly wide wedge tornado that may have occurred in this area as well. And we'll still be unfolding this. We're going to send a crew up into that area, and if we have damage, we're going to bring that to you on Fox 10 News at 9 p.m. So right now, here's Highway 43. We have a tornado or a possible rotation area that is racing to the northeast. There still may be some debris aloft right there. There may be a lot of debris aloft, right? And so, there also could be some hail mixed in here too, but this is debris. This is correlation coefficient. So, this is very, very concerning to see what may be unfolding and has occurred here in Clarke County. It's a pretty good ways away from the radar, but this stuff will really stand out. And with that low level flow, it may be pulling the debris a little north away from the actual circulation area, which should be right about here on the west side of Thomasville. So still have a tornado warning for Thomasville. You are in a tornado warning now. The current time is 6:46, and we were expecting it to be in the Thomasville area between 6:45 and 6:50 p.m. So that's pretty much the time period we're expecting there. This is a very prominent debris field that looks like it's popped up here on radar, and it's continuing to move over the northern stretches of Clarke County. Your rotation area, last check, would be directly between Chilton and Tallahassee Springs. It's going to re-intersect with Highway 154 any minute. And that is where Highway 154 comes back in along Highway 43 right into Thomasville. So that's the area, the rotation area is probably about where the T is in Thomasville right there. We've got Tallahassee Springs Road as well, the road that's west of Thomasville. And so that rotation area is going to be pretty much right on top of you. It won't have much further to go. It's going to be out of our area. Once it clears over into Wilcox County, that's just too far to the east, and we're not on, our signal doesn't go that far, and we're not on cable and some of those direct TV boxes over to the east, but there may be some folks that are streaming us on YouTube TV and stuff here around Pine Hill. The history of this, likely a tornado that has crossed the Tombigbee River just south of Coffeyville. This is the history of it. So it started near 17 in Millery. We were on air with the warning at the top of the hour. The likely tornado crossing 84. It worked up towards 154, and it is now close to Thomasville. And there has been, it looks like we just got an expiry on this. Is that the same warning?
Let me check. This might have been
the tornado warning that, okay, so they expired the old warning.
And then issued this new one.
Yeah, that's probably what happened. So there's just a little tweak there. Still a tornado warning, no doubt about it, for the Thomasville area. A possible tornado headed across the west side of Thomasville. It's going to cross Highway 43. So let's get into Thomasville here. Want to name out some roads and some locations here in the Thomasville area that could be potentially impacted by this rotation. And looking at it, yeah. So this, I believe that's Tallahassee Springs Road right there. We're going to have another one for northern Choctaw County also here soon. Yeah. That's Tallahassee Springs Road. Okay, so between Tallahassee Springs and Thomasville, you got Tallahassee Springs Road, and that's where the rotation area is right now, and it's very hard to see now.
Yeah, this is...
I'm glad that it's looking like this, because this thing was looking terrible when it was over the Taylorsville area, over the McIntyre area. So it's definitely broadening out.
That's still heavy rain. There might be some hail embedded in there, like in Tallahassee Springs and in Thomasville at this point, but that rotation does look a lot better. I feel a lot better about that now.
Yeah, Glover area, you're going to be continued in the tornado warning, and there was just mention of a new tornado warning for northern Choctaw County. That's probably going to stay out of our area, but they're going to call one here. It just popped up. That's going to be between Thomasville and Meridian. So it's going to be a little north of Butler. Butler's right here. It's going to be on the north side of Butler here, and it's almost up to Cuba and York. It's a little bit to the south of Kewanee, Mississippi. This is going to be in northern Choctaw County. We got a storm there, kind of close to Zero, Mississippi, which is a real actual place in Lauderdale County along 10. You got the community of Energy right here. These are all areas that are just outside the area. There's Cuba right there. Here's Butler. So northern Choctaw County, if you know anybody up that way. This is probably a tornado here.
This is, yes.
Is it confirmed?
I don't think, I haven't seen the actual confirmation of it, but this is about as bad as it gets. For
yeah, we got a nasty
signature.
Looking radar indicated tornado on the northwest side of Laurel, Mississippi. This is going to be along Highway 84, and it looks like it'll pass just north of Laurel. Laurel is a very highly populated area. So we got
donut hole on reflectivity. That's a donut hole.
Right. There, yeah, tornado. So, yeah, that's not good. And we are monitoring this. And that's probably your tornado debris signature there when you rocked it back to debris right there. There's probably some debris right there.
This is a really populated area too.
Yeah, big
outside of our area, but populated area.
It is a highly populated area. And so what we're showing you, the reason why we're showing this, atmosphere is primed for tornadoes today. And we've seen what looks like a confirmed tornado moving through Clarke County. It is now looking weaker with the rotation. It's coming through Thomasville now, so we're going to stay on air with this warning. But what's happening to our west is going to move back into the area soon. And so, you know, we're still going to see that tornadic threat continuing. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Further to the south, we'll start to see some activity as well. And just to take a quick look at what's actually specifically going on in Thomasville, because I know you're concerned. We've showed you some really ominous debris signatures and that kind of thing, and some rotation areas. Rotation area is not quite as strong. It's going to be really close to Tallahassee Springs. It's very difficult to actually pick out the warning. And I just got note, the National Weather Service in Mobile is going to drop the warning for Thomasville. You probably sensed that we were downplaying it, and the reason why is it looks like the rotation area has weakened. So right now, we are no longer under a tornado warning for our area. We've been on air for about 50 minutes tracking this warning. It was likely a terrible tornado in Clarke County. We're going to be confirming that for you on Fox 10 News. There are other things we're watching out there. If we do see another warning, we're going to come right back on the air with an update here on Fox 10 News. We're going to go back to programming, but if we do see another warning, we'll come right back on.